with either piano or guitar and high vocals, I can sell a lot of those to film and TV because they work with dialogue. So you may be able to just repurpose your songs, one song, into 6 different ways. You know, when I interviewed Manawi back when, they got their song on a novella in Mexico, and that kind of broke the band to a bigger audience, and it grew from there. So there's different ways. The bottom line here is a lot of artists get their careers started by being placed on film and TV. So please don't overlook that, and please try to repurpose your music. Again, another way is to take one song and throw it up to the sky and get 3 different ways to generate income.
Yeah, again, I know it's a lot past just recording a song. You know, we're all creative. We love the energy of accomplishment of creating, you know, music that we like, want to share it with other people. But once you start dealing with these corporations, they may need it in very specific ways. And the more adaptable you are with your music and the stems of being able to create instrumentals, it's kind of like when you create a TV track where you're performing the song on TV or and doing it live, where you're performing your lead vocal, but your backing vocals and your instrumentation, everything else is on that recording. Again, you want to be able to scale that even back further and have various versions of your music. Because again, this licensing may start small. A lot of these programs pay are modest fees, you know. Sometimes you hear about somebody making a lot of money in a movie. It's usually a known artist, and that artist's audience and their cachet of their name value or their social media impact or footprint will actually help move that TV show or that movie to a bigger audience, and that's where your value can rise. Stone, why don't you talk a little bit about, again, working with music as you've seen it and some of the avenues you've seen to be able to not only license the music and how that helps create a demand maybe for the live shows, because again, performing live, again, is a great thing to promote your music, but again, a lot of clubs aren't necessarily, or venues, going to want to pay you for that music unless you are generating that foot traffic or tickets for their club.
So another creative thing that because I spend time, before I go to bed, I spend about 20 minutes taking mental notes and then putting that on paper. Just every day I'm thinking about something new. How can I go outside the box as an artist to be cutting edge, to get people's attention, and to make an impact while I'm here as an artist, and continue to get booked and continue to get attention with the artists that I'm putting out and distributing. So sometimes you got to go and create those avenues. So I tell people, I said, okay, look, so if you can't get a song in a film, then throw it in your YouTube blog channel. Throw it in your YouTube channel. That's still publishing. That's still streaming, especially now because YouTube being radio and TV. You got to think outside of the box. Anybody in here that has films, prime example, I started thinking, I had 2 songs placed in some films this year. I said, okay, you know what, let me think outside the box. I have a deal with Netflix, I have a deal with Hulu, and I have a deal with Amazon Prime. I said, so I'm gonna take these independent movies and these documentaries I'm doing, and I'm gonna put all the songs of mine in those documentaries as well as any artists I know to give them opportunity for streaming. So you have to think over and above, but not only that, you're trying to build a fan base. Tap into YouTube, get on there and perform your work. I mean, we all know that does work, but a lot of people don't want to go put in the work to do that. Put your songs up there, perform your songs, interact with your fan base, build a fan base. Don't do one video, do a series of videos. People might not start watching them from the first 2 or 3. You have to build a relationship to let people know you're gonna be there. By any means necessary, your job as an artist is to take your brand to the attention of people like Jay and Sydney and people that are looking to say, I want to book that artist. So if I look on YouTube and I see that you have 60 videos and you know your interactions are 2,000 and up, somebody's watching. You got people are commenting, I like that band, I like that artist. Let me email them. Hey man, look, we're doing this festival. Do you want to play? I'm looking at your numbers, I'm seeing you interacting, you got people, I know you can at least pull 50 to 100 people. You got to think outside the box. If you really want to do this music thing and it's something that you really want to do, then you'll start thinking of creative things that you know are going to work, and you're going to be willing to put in the work to make it work. Because it's not going to work if you don't make it work, because you're trying to make people believe in your brand and who you are, but you must think outside the box, and you can't play music industry like kids play dollhouse. So I tell people this all the time. Artists are playing music industry like kids play dollhouse. You can't, those two don't mix. You got to take this serious. You have to jump into the trenches, and you got to create avenues. If they're not there, create them.
I was going to mention one quick thing. Anybody ever dream of maybe earning a Grammy for something they wrote or performed? Anyone? So if you write a song, it's not like you have to go through a label or anything like that. This is 2018. Listen, if you have a great CD and you go to this guy here at Disc Makers and you print it, and then you put your CD on CD Baby, which I highly recommend if anybody wants to get nominated for anything, they put all the back-end data and all of the information and all the coding that needs to go on a CD. And the Grammys love it because it has all the categories and it makes their job easier, and they love it when you have a CD that is being sold on CD Baby, because when you go in and you have to register that information, it's there for them to be able to be nominated in the category. So that goes from your home studio, you make your CD, you get it on CD Baby, it's coded, and then you can start submitting. So there's different categories and ways, and so you can build. I mean, there's a lot of artists maybe that didn't earn a Grammy, but maybe they were nominated, and now, they're growing in size, and maybe they'll get a record deal.
And what she's talking about, just for those that don't understand, she's talking about the metadata information, which is industry standard.
Learn the word, metadata.
I'm gonna chime in. Let me chime in real quick on that. I just want to see hands. How many of you guys on social media have over 50,000 followers? Any hands? Got one right there. Anybody got 100,000? So the numbers are a lot, maybe 5,000? 5,000. All right, there's more hands. What I'm hearing here, and I go back to the topic, so as I'm up here, I'm looking at this topic, making money, making music. And I think while I was in the lobby, I was sharing with some artists, there's a lot of rockers. This is my first time really getting down with NAMM, and I've seen so many rock bands, and it's very interesting, both with that and hip-hop, reggae, EDM. The business that we're in today for music is really about 30 to 40% of you in the studio, 60% of you in your business, making the 100% marketing mix for your brand. And that's very real. It's a numbers game. Do not be disillusioned. It is a numbers game out here. And so the business that I play in is a little bit different than some of my colleagues on this panel here, but it's very much a numbers game. So for Mike John's Digital Mind State, iHeart, and all that good stuff, we're looking at what those numbers are and equating those. Back in the day, it was a different thing just to put up a banner on a website, and I got your banner up there. I got these flyers. You mentioned a very good point in terms of what is the interaction. So I'm one that's really looking at what is the video that's on YouTube, your free pipeline, what is the interaction to that? And based on those numbers alone, then I can come off with an equation. So when we're talking about metadata, we also got to talk about algorithms, we also got to talk about this better word called big data. And this is the music that I'm really into, where how do you go about making money with your music? And so I'm playing my performances. I like what you said, doing various songs, doing various videos to the same song. Whatever it takes to think out the box. That is key. There are no rules. The rules are being defined. New rules are being defined. So I want to make sure that my time up here as we're speaking is really just giving the message out to you guys in terms of technology is governing everything that you're doing. Hands down, that's what it is. And really the bigger play right now is how are you engaging with your fans, and what are the analytics that that can either put you on if you decide to go on a record label side, or if you're deciding to work with companies like Jay in terms of working with companies to now put together tours. Well, everything is about money. Data is the new oil. To understand that data is the cash cow.
That's how you get paid.
Okay, again, we're talking about a business. I know a lot of this is mind-boggling when you're interested in certain aspects of making music, writing songs, producing your music, but again, it's very complex to be successful in this industry. As we see at NAMM, there's hundreds of thousands of people here, and there's a few dozen super successful people in the area of music. But independently, there's a lot of successful people that may not be on your mainstream radar. And we talk about people like this at a lot of sessions. How many people in the room know who Joe Bonamassa is? What have we told you that Joe Bonamassa was more profitable than most of your big, pop artists on major labels these days? Meaning he's getting bigger royalties, more revenues, more money from his shows per 1,000, people in the seats. Joe is one of the premier blues rock guitarists. He's part of the Black Country Communion, the supergroup with members of Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin, and Dream Theater, and he does super business all over the world. And even in LA, he'll four-wall places like the Kodak Theater that nobody plays except the Oscars. The Academy Awards is about one of the only events you'll hear about at the Kodak Theater. But Joe Bonamassa, last time in town, booked it, paid for it for 2 days. He makes the parking, the concessions, the ticket sales, the bar, all of that. And it's not about being greedy. Again, it's about being profitable so he can now in turn make more ventures, more dynamic moves. The last Black Country Communion album was put out by a major label in Europe. So he's got the clout and the ability now to talk the other band members as they made their 4th album to put it through his system. We're going to be talking about the live business. And again, we're glad that Kevin Lyman had joined us. And there's a lot of misconceptions, again, how the concert business works, how radio works, and all that. But we're going to talk about some of the ideas of how some people have independently sparked a buzz on getting on shows where they were four-walling their own shows, which means you rent the venue. And coming up in punk rock and alternative and hip-hop, it was exactly that. No venues would book the music. So the old punk rock bands would rent the hall, the Shriners Club or the Elks Lodge and put on a show. Couldn't serve liquor, but again, they could put on a show that the general industry was not interested at that point. Now it's big business. Green Day sells out the Rose Bowl and stadiums all over the world. But at the time, again, you're trying to build that momentum. So you talk about some of the examples you've seen where indie artists have actually done creative things, where they're open for a major artist, and what's some of those things they need to bring to the table to even make it advantageous to a name act.
There are millions of people out there doing music. Let's say 100,000 of them are really good, but there's only a few that are special. So if you want to be successful, and you want to stand out from the crowd, you have to know what makes you special. Maybe it's, your band does party music and you throw out condoms and everybody loves it. Maybe the whole band has colored hair, red, blue, green, purple, orange. But if you don't stand out at a live show, on the internet, on YouTube, on iHeartRadio, then you'll get lost. There's too much noise out there right now. So in order to, you gotta be thinking in your head, you guys are the creative people. What is it that makes you special? What makes you stand out? How do you promote your show? Is your show promoted in a unique and different way? Are you, sending out like birthday cards on the internet to everybody? It's my birthday party, come to my show. Because that works. It's my record release party, come to my show. But if you just say, I'm doing a show on Friday night, come to my show, it's not likely you're going to get that many people just to show up unless you have already established that you're special, that you're different, that you're unique, that you have your own brand. That's what building a brand is all about. It's about having your own thing. Burger King's got the flame broil. McDonald's got the Big Mac. So what is it that makes you special? What is it that... I manage a band now that's a very talented band called Robot Nature. And they're a little different than your average rock band because they have a lead singer that plays violin. So we're in the meetings now trying to figure out how we make that even more special. Maybe we can get some lasers to shoot out of his violin. Maybe these guys can wear some LEDs so that when you go to see this show, When you leave the show, you'll know what you've seen, you'll remember it. Because if you don't remember it, if it's not memorable, you won't be going back.
I'm gonna chime in with you on that. I like the, what you say, Burger King, McDonald's? Let me add Jack in the Box and the 420 special. Church. We knew it on the late night, but there's a good example of how they found their niche to build their brand amongst the big boys. We know McDonald's, Burger King pretty much dominates the game, but hey, you know what? As cannabis is getting legal and throughout the states, here's what they decide to do to build their brand. I like to say this: attention is the new currency. And right now, as a part of this digital age that we live in, everything that we do is about gaining your attention. I'm gonna dive in a little bit more. When I'm in New York and I'm on, there's only one place called Times Square. And in Times Square, when you land there, you see all the biggest advertisements ever. It's all going down. You might be en route to go to point A to point B because the subway station is there, but lo and behold, all these ads are there to captivate you and gain your attention. You might have caught it on Sunday when your parents had the newspaper and they bring in the newspaper and the mom is looking at the ads. You might have caught it when you're watching TV, or I'm sorry, your favorite TV show, and now on Empire they're doing this, now on Nashville, or whatever the show is. Everything is about gaining your attention. And to your point, we have to now look at the game, your strategy, your thinking in terms of how do I gain one's attention? Attention is the business. From attention then comes the distribution. From distribution come that, give me the money bag. And that's what it's about right now in this digital age. Attention is the new currency. So yeah, everybody's making noise, you can be lost in the sauce. So what are you doing different? Back to your point, thinking out the box, and what you just shared in terms of the analogy, I love it. These are things, I'm really just passionate in terms of, I looked at this panel in terms of understanding so many artists from across the globe. I'm really big into Afro beats. And so I know my brothers and sisters over there in Johannesburg and their struggle over there. I know what's going on in England. I know what's happening right here in my own backyard. And so as an artist, how do you take advantage of this new platform called digital technology to tell your story, deliver your narrative, gain attention, and ultimately be able to monetize it for your brand? And so that's what I'm really about.
Let me just say one thing. We've got less than 5 minutes here, and this goes by really, really fast. We apologize. We're not even going to get out of first gear before we're off this stage. The amount of knowledge, the complexities of this business, Indie Power works with some of the biggest independent artists in the industry worldwide, and it is staggering the complexities of this business when you're taking on, quote, major labels and trying to get the attention of the giants in the concert industry like a lot of and AEG and things like that. So we're going to make a couple quick announcements by the end of this. We encourage everybody to reach out. Again, we offer a free consultation and we can carry this on. The Indie Entertainment Summit, which happens here in Los Angeles, in the North Hollywood area, every August. Every member on this panel has been a part of, and we're very vibrant in hour-and-a-half sessions, half-hour meet and greets with the speakers, 3 to 4 days of dozens and dozens of these panels. So again, we're barely scratching the surface of what we're doing today, but I'm going to throw out a couple topics. Some of the active areas that some independent artists have broken through these days is creating a reality show, being on a reality show. Even if you can't get a network to pick it up, streaming live on Facebook, creating your own shows. Basically, again, we've been saying think outside the box. And in essence, really, there is no rules. As long as it's legal and it's effective, people are catching on to what you're doing, anything is possible. One of the things we highlight at the Indie Summit is the hundreds and hundreds of independent artists and creators that are exploding around the world, not following, looking for a record deal and signing away all their rights and profits and control. Some of the other areas, again, selling your merchandise. There's some acts that make more money selling merchandise than they do selling their music. Whether it be the Insane Clown Posse or our friend Tech Nine, who sells a lot of music, but every night in merchandise and VIP experiences, walks out of the door with 6 figures playing a club like House of Blues. Again, some of the, obviously giving lessons, doing clinics, there's an explosion in festivals to try and get on those bottom rungs just to show what you have to maybe lift up to the higher areas of that. So we want to make sure that what we passed out, everyone has the phone number, the email address. We want to, again, encourage everyone to leave your email address and, again, really have the opportunity to continue this conversation. We're going to be meeting outdoors right after this, where we're going to be able to continue this conversation. We really want to communicate with you guys. Again, I'm 45 years in the business. I know everybody up here is decades deep in this industry, and we still feel like we're brand new every day. Changes in the industry, opportunities that are out there, and things that we want to really help and see. Unfortunately, they've already given us the wrap-up sign. So again,